GM paired a perfectly good engine with the wrong transmission, and owners are paying $12,000 for that mistake. 3 combos are at war with themselves. 4 will outlast the frame, the body, and your patience for oil changes. The worst part is you will not catch it on a test drive. The combo everyone recommends is number 1 on my worst list. Let's start there. Worst number 1. 5.3-liter V8 with AFM paired to the 8L 98 speed, 2015 to 2019. This combo has made more transmission shops rich than any other powertrain in GMC history. GM's flagship setup for half a decade, and it has 2 separate systems trying to destroy each other on every single drive. The AFM system deactivates 4 cylinders under light load to save fuel. The lifters that control it collapse, tick, and eventually destroy the camshaft. That repair costs $2,500 to $6,000 depending on whether you catch it early or late. The 8L90 torque converter is the second problem. The clutch material breaks down, contaminates the fluid, and causes violent shaking between 30 and 50 miles per hour. GM issued multiple technical service bulletins on this. The fluid flush sometimes buys time, but the shudder comes back. Torque converter replacement runs $1,800 to $3,000. Now here is what nobody talks about. These 2 problems accelerate each other. The 8L90 is programmed to keep engine speed low for fuel economy. That forces the engine into 4-cylinder mode more often. More AFM cycles means faster lifter wear. And while the lifters are struggling through those transitions, the transmission is trying to lock the torque converter at the same time. 2 systems fighting each other on every drive. Think of it like hiring 2 employees who each do great work alone, but every time they are in the same room, they start an argument. Eventually, the whole office burns down. That is the 5.3 AFM plus 8L90 in a nutshell. There is a well-documented case on a GMC forum. A person replaced his lifters at 80,000 miles, $5,000. Then his torque converter went at 95,000 miles, another $3,000. Then the lifters failed again at 115,000 miles. 3 major repairs in 35,000 miles. He sold the truck at a loss just to stop the bleeding. That is not bad luck. That is a design conflict on repeat. If you are shopping a 2015 to 2019 Sierra or Yukon with this combo, check for documentation of an AFM delete and a torque converter replacement. No receipts, no deal. And if the price looks too good to be true, it is because someone already did the math on the repair bills and decided to pass the problem to you. But this next one might be worse, because at least with the 5.3, you know what you are getting into. This one blindsides people. Worst number 2. 2.7-liter turbo plus 8-speed. 2019 to 2021. GM sold this as the future. It was a turbocharged 4-cylinder that promised big torque and 4-cylinder fuel economy. What owners got was a beta test they did not sign up for. The 2.7-liter turbo has real problems that show up with mileage. High-pressure fuel pump failures. Carbon buildup on the intake valves because GM chose direct injection only, with no port injection to keep the valves clean. And the AFM system deactivating 2 of 4 cylinders in a turbocharged engine that is already working hard. Each of these is a $1,000 plus repair. But the real issue is how the engine and the 8-speed talk to each other. A turbo engine makes peak torque low in the rev range. That is the entire point. But the transmission shifts before the turbo is fully spooled. Then it panics and downshifts when you need power, and the turbo surges. The result is a truck that lurches, hesitates, and never feels settled. The constant spool up, spool down cycle kills the turbo bearings faster than steady-state driving would. Consumer Reports flagged a 4% catastrophic failure rate in early production 2.7 turbo Silverados. That is not a rounding error. That is 1 out of every 25 trucks with a serious engine problem. And the fuel economy promise broken. The transmission hunts so often, and the turbo cycles so hard, that real-world numbers are no better than the 5.3 V8 for most owners. You bought a complicated turbo 4-cylinder to save money on gas. You are now paying turbo repair bills and getting the same mileage as the simple V8 you could have bought instead. One owner on a Silverado forum put it perfectly. He said he averaged 21 miles per gallon on the highway when the truck was new. By 40,000 miles, with the turbo cycling harder and the transmission hunting constantly, he was down to 17. His buddy with a 5.3 was getting 18. He paid more in repairs and got less in return. That is not a compromise. That is a loss on every front. GM improved this significantly starting in 2022 with updated calibration and a revised fuel pump. But from 2019 to 2021, the mismatch between engine and transmission makes this combo one to avoid. This last one surprised me the most because it is the powertrain that is supposed to be GM's best. Worst number 3, 6.2-liter V8 plus the 10L8010 speed from 2019 to 2021. After the 8L90 torque converter disaster, you would think GM learned. They did not. The 6.2 V8 makes 420 horsepower. The 10-speed automatic was co-developed with Ford. This is a Denali that costs more than $60,000, premium truck, premium price. And the same torque converter shutter problem all over again. Different transmission, different converter design, same clutch material degradation, same shutter between 30 and 50 miles per hour. Owners paying Denali money but getting base model reliability. The engine itself is excellent. Powerful. Refined. Sounds great. The engine was never the problem. The 10-speed was. 10 gears means the computer is constantly searching for the perfect ratio. Under light throttle, it hunts. It never settles. That constant shifting accelerates clutch wear and torque converter degradation. The hardware cannot keep up with the software. GM's response was software updates. One update fixed the shutter but created harsh shifts. The next smoothed the shifts but brought back the shutter. Owners became involuntary beta testers for calibration experiments. Repair costs run $1,800 to $3,000 at a dealer, and multiple owners have reported the shutter returning 30,000 miles after the converter replacement. Same design, same failure. Not a fix, a reset. Imagine spending $65,000 on a Denali and making 4 trips to the dealer in 1 year, because GM is debugging their software on your truck. That is the ownership experience from 2019 to 2021. One Denali owner posted his entire timeline online. The shutter started at 22,000 miles. The dealer did a fluid flush. The shutter returned at 31,000 miles. The dealer replaced the torque converter under warranty. The shutter came back at 58,000 miles. That vehicle was out of warranty. Another $3,000 out of pocket. His exact words were, "I love this engine and hate everything behind it." That one sentence describes this combo better than anything I could write. Those are the 3 combos that drain your wallet. Every single one has the same root problem. An engine and a transmission that should never have been paired the way they were. GM built great components and then sabotaged them with bad matchmaking. But they have also built combos that are the exact opposite, where everything clicks, where the engine and transmission were designed together from day one. Let me show you the powertrains that drain your odometer instead of your bank account. If this is helping you avoid an expensive mistake, subscribe! I put out new GMC buying guides and maintenance breakdowns every week. Let's get into the best. Best number 1. 6.0-liter Vortec plus 6L90, 2007 to 2019. After everything we just covered, including active fuel management lifter failures, torque converter shudder, and software nightmares, this combo feels like a vacation. The 6.0-liter Vortec Vive 8 makes 360 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. It is paired with the 6L90 6-speed transmission. No active fuel management, no cylinder deactivation, no lifters waiting to destroy themselves. Just a simple, proven V8 doing its job. The 6L90 is the heavy-duty version of the 6L80, with stronger internals and beefier clutch packs. It was designed to handle diesel torque, so the 6.0 gas engine is basically a day off for this transmission. Massive safety margins everywhere. The key difference from every combo on the worst list is that these two were calibrated together from the start. The shift points match the torque curve, and the converter locks up without fighting the engine. No mismatch, no components working against each other. Fleet managers figured this out years ago. A fleet operator in Texas running 12 of these Sierra 2500 trucks posted his numbers online. His oldest truck had over 400,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. These trucks get bought, worked hard, and run until the body falls apart. Maintenance is almost insulting in its simplicity. Oil changes and a transmission fluid drain and fill every 50,000 miles. Any shop with a lift can keep this powertrain alive. It is the equivalent of a cast iron skillet in a kitchen full of non-stick pans. Nothing fancy, nothing fragile, just works every single time you pick it up. The problem is finding one. Owners do not sell these trucks. They keep them until the frame rusts away. When a clean one does pop up, expect to pay a premium. A 2012 Sierra 2500 with the 6.0 and reasonable miles often commands more than trucks 5 years newer, and it is worth every penny because the powertrain will still be running when everything around it has given up. But if you want something easier to find and almost as reliable, the next combo is the sweet spot. Best number 2. The 5.3-liter plus 6 L80 from 2007 to 2013. Remember the 5.3 from the worst list, the one with AFM destroying lifters? The Gen 4 version of this engine in the 2007 to 2013 trucks still has AFM, technically, but the system is far less aggressive than the DFM system in the newer Gen 5 engines. More importantly, it can be disabled with an inexpensive plug-in device for under $300. Once disabled, this is just a simple pushrod V8 that does its job quietly, around 315 to 320 horsepower. Not exciting, does not need to be. The 6L80, a 6-speed automatic, is equally solid. General Motors' first modern 6-speed automatic, and they got it right. Strong planetary gear sets, durable clutch packs, a torque converter that does not shudder. This is the transmission the 8L90 wished it was. Together, they are boring in the best possible way. Smooth shifts, predictable behavior, zero drama. One owner on a Sierra forum has a 2009 Sierra 1500 as his daily driver with 280,000 miles. He has never opened the engine or the transmission. His biggest repair in 15 years was a water pump. Parts are dirt cheap and everywhere. Any mechanic with basic tools can work on this powertrain. You can order parts from any auto parts store in America and have them on your doorstep by tomorrow. Try that with a turbo 4-cylinder. Now for the diesel buyers who want the best modern technology can offer. This next one is special. Best number 3. 6.6-liter Duramax L 5P Plus Allison 10-speed. 2020 and newer. This is the diesel powertrain that changed the game for GM. The 6.6 Duramax L5P makes 445 horsepower and 910 pound-feet of torque from the factory. No tune needed. That is enough to tow over 35,000 pounds, while your passengers barely notice. But power without reliability is just an expensive headache. Ask anyone on the worst list. The previous generation Duramax, the LML, used a Bosch CP4.2 fuel pump that was essentially a time bomb with American diesel fuel. When it failed, it sent metal shavings through the entire fuel system, $10,000 to $15,000 in repairs. Catastrophic. The L5P replaced it with a Denso HP4 injection pump. More robust, better tolerant of American fuel quality. Multiple years of real-world data now, and the failure rate has dropped dramatically. The Allison 10 speed is the other half of this equation. This is critical. It is not the 10L80 from the half-ton trucks, not a modified version, not a shared platform. It is the 10L1000, a completely different transmission purpose built for diesel torque. The internals are heavier, the calibration is optimized for heavy loads. This is a working transmission, not a passenger car unit pressed into service. The calibration between these two is where everything comes together. Remember every worst list combo struggling with mismatch? This is the opposite. Shifts are smooth, well-timed, and decisive. The transmission finds the right gear and stays there. No hunting, no second guessing. The engine and transmission communicate like they were developed together. Because they were. Yes, it is expensive. $65,000 to start, $80,000 plus fully loaded. But here is the math nobody does at the dealership. A worst list combo costs you the truck price plus $10,000 to $15,000 in repairs over the first 100,000 miles. This combo costs you the truck price plus oil and filters. Over 300,000 miles, the L5P owner spends less total than the owner who bought a cheaper truck and got eaten alive by repair bills. It is like buying a house with a new roof versus saving $10,000 on a house where the roof leaks in the first winter. You do not save money. You just delay spending it and add water damage to the bill. The most expensive powertrain you can buy is actually the cheapest one to own. That is the math nobody does at the dealership. But what if you want gas power without diesel money? GM actually has an answer now. They just needed 3 years to get it right. Best number 4, 6.2-liter plus 10L80, 2022 and newer. The same combo from the worst list. Different year, different result. In 2022, GM revised the torque converter with improved clutch material and completely rewrote the transmission's calibration. The shift quality issues that plagued the first 3 years are largely gone. 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, smooth, decisive shifts from all 10 gears. A torque converter that locks up clean. This is the powertrain the 6.2 deserved all along. The difference between the 2019 to 2021 forums and the 2022 plus forums tells the entire story. Earlier years are full of shutter complaints, dealer frustrations, and repair bills. Later years, owners talking about fuel economy and tow ratings. One guy who owned a 2020 Denali and traded it for a 2023 said it felt like a completely different truck. Same engine, same gear count. But the shifts were clean, the converter locked up smooth, and the hunting was gone. That is what happens when the engineering finally matches the marketing. The 6.2 now competes with Ford's 7.3 Godzilla for towing confidence and outperforms the Ram 5.7 Hemi in both power and refinement. And unlike the turbo competitors, there is no boost lag, no complex plumbing, and no turbo replacement hanging over your head at 100,000 miles. One critical warning. In 2025, GM issued a recall for 2021 through 2024 trucks with the 6.2 L87 engine due to a crankshaft manufacturing defect in certain builds. The fix involves an inspection and, in some cases, a switch to a higher viscosity oil. This does not affect every truck, but if you are buying used, confirm the recall status through the VIN before you sign anything. A great powertrain with a disclosed known issue is still a smart buy. An unknown one is a gamble. And the model year matters more than anything on a dealer lot. A 2021 and a 2022 look almost identical. Same body, same interior, same badge. But underneath they are different trucks. The 2022 has the revised converter and calibration. The 2021 does not. That 1 year difference is worth thousands in avoided repairs. Check the build date on the door jamb. If it says 2021 or earlier, keep looking. 3 worst, 4 best, 7 combos that either cost you everything or run forever. The pattern is simple. The engine matters. The transmission matters. But how they work together is what separates a 400,000-mile truck from a $12,000 repair bill. A great engine paired with the wrong transmission is worse than an average engine paired with the right one. Every combo on the worst list proves it, and every combo on the best list proves the opposite. When GM takes the time to match components properly, they build some of the best powertrains on the road. The tragedy is that most buyers never check. They look at horsepower, they look at tow ratings, they look at the badge on the tailgate. Nobody asks whether the engine and the transmission are working together or fighting each other. Now you know to ask. And that knowledge is worth more than anything else in this video.